All right, so this is my 1993 Harley Davidson Ultra Classic. Um, so I've been having a hard time finding videos on these, so I figured I'd make one real quick. So mine already had the tour pack off. These older bikes don't have the quick attach like my newer bike does. So everything is bolted on. It's not the quick clips and everything. So these sidebars, actually I had kind of a hard time figuring it out just because there is a certain way they go on. You can get them on, but it's not always the correct way. So I had to actually flip them a couple times. So the fronts bolt on right here, and they have these hardware. It sits inside here like this, just goes through, and then you can see it mounts flush there, and then that mounts flush there, and that just sticks through. It's just an Allen key. That's simple enough. These tighten down pretty good. But like my bike, it didn't come with all the hardware. It just came with the parts. So it's kind of hard to find the right hardware. Like in my case, I had some bolts that I got at the hardware store, and I actually ended up snapping one in there because I don't think it was exactly the correct thread pitch. So I ended up having to drill it out. And the same thing happened on the other side. So I ended up drilling it out and just sticking a skinnier bolt through there and putting a nut on this side. And it works just as well, but it would be nice to keep everything OEM. So this side, they bolt on the back here. There should be 2 bolt holes, but on the top, there's 2 of them. You got to do the back one because I originally put it in the top one here, and they sit and they touch the turn signal. So you got to make sure you get it on the back one here. And so if you look at the bar that's here in the middle, it has to be aligned with your back crash bar here. You can put them on the other way on accident and they'll bolt right up, but that bar will be the other way, which isn't how it's supposed to be. As well as if you have them backwards, the bolts on this side, I think they're little 2 Torx bits here, those will show, and those are supposed to be on the inside. I don't know much about these bikes, honestly. This is my first 90s Harley, so I've been having a hard time finding anything online. So as I go, I'll try and figure it out on my own, and so nobody has to learn from their own mistakes like I'm learning from mine. It's easy to screw this stuff up, as well as like mine has an aftermarket whip on the back. This will get in the way if you are going to put the tour pack on. The tour pack, so here is where my like aftermarket license plate bolts into. I'm not sure if they came with that. I'm assuming that it didn't, but if it did, that's where your license plate would go. And if not, you have the tour pack on or you're trying to put the tour pack on, there's a big metal piece that sits on here, and it bolts in what I would believe it would bolt into the top of these strut towers here. And then it's a flat plate where you can bolt your tour pack right on top of it. See, this metal piece sits right here on top of the taillight, and then these arms here, I would believe you would take these upper shock mounts and just stick them down through that bolt, and that's how they bolt in up there. And then these, I'm assuming, would bolt in just right here. And then all you would have to do is take the tour pack, set it on here, and slap your bolts in. And then you would have to locate where the wiring harness went for the taillights, because there's accessory taillights here, and then there's accessories taillights or marker lights in the side of the tour pack that have their wiring harness plugs. But if someone took it off, they might be shoved in there. They might have cut them, but or maybe it's in this back fender here. I'm learning as I go, just trying to get this bike back to its original glory. I've had a couple other issues with the bike that I can go over in another video, but for now, I'll keep working on putting this tour pack on the back. The way I got it, it was just the saddlebags and didn't have any of the original chrome ultra classic pieces. So we're just looking at trying to make this bike a little more original, as well as I believe if you want to run the chrome grab bars that stick out on the back under the tour pack, I think you do need an OEM or close to OEM seat. A lot of the aftermarket seats, the way they bolt in, it just doesn't work with it. So I think if you want to make it original, you have to have the original parts. But yeah, that's all I got for now, and I'll come back when I have more. Okay, so I got all my bars all bolted up. I don't like using random hardware, but it's what I had. So they're all nice and sturdy. So I have to put pipes on. I'm just putting these back on the bike because that's where parts are safest. Safest place for a part is on the bike, not laying in the garage, because that's when it gets kicked around. I'm gonna put these back on for now, and I'm not gonna ride it. You know, it's 30 degrees outside. But I'm putting them back on for now, and then I'm gonna order new back sections. I'm ordering straights. I have the OEM baffled pipe ends, but I like the sound of these Evo motors. They sound pretty good. So these rear bags, the way they sit in here is there's bolts here and here, or nuts welded onto these brackets, and they bolt in from the inside, which I think is a great design, because eventually it's happened to me where your bolts rattle out. They're gonna fall in and not just on the ground, which is really nice, because then you don't have to keep replacing bolts. So, oh, there it is. So you just stick these in through here and then bolt up your bags. And I personally think that this looks really slick. The bike came without those chrome bars on. It was just the bags, and it has a slim seat on it. I personally think these bars look really slick. I like the look of the Ultra Classic. It's a nice, fancy looking bike. And those chrome bars definitely help. And it even came with a nice add-on sticker that I didn't know was there, but that's all right with me. I'll get the bolting those back on and get the seat back on there. Okay, I think it's all put back together. I got the license plate bracket all put on. It looks pretty slick. Only thing I'm missing is those back section of pipes, and I'm not gonna be riding it like this anyways. I don't want them bags to get hot. And I couldn't find my bolt for my seat, so I'll look around the garage for that. Other than that, I think those bars look pretty slick on there. It's not a bad looking bike. As well as, I could do a video. I had to replace the actual fuel petcock. I think it was $140 from the dealership in town. That was kind of not fun. The old one, they put a petcock without a vacuum pump on the back, or not vacuum pump, but the vacuum seal thing where it runs to the carb. I had to run the line. They actually capped off the line. They cut it and capped it off, which sucked because I had to retune everything. But I ran the vacuum line, new gas lines, new petcock. I had a hard time getting it to stop leaking fuel. As well as I had to put new plugs in it. And something weird that happened was I was out for a ride, and after I'd put the new plugs in, and all of a sudden it started just running like crap. And I got back, and that was like a week or two ago, so I finally looked at it today, and the actual tops of these plugs spun off. The top of the spark plugs here. I don't know if I can show you real quick. These tops, I went to the store and bought new ones today. These are fixed tops, so they can't come off. But the ones I had actually spun off. So it wasn't working like it was supposed to. So I got those fixed plugs, which I hope they work better. I got out my Harley manual, and I checked the gap and everything. And it said online that they recommended NGK, but my parts store didn't have that. So I tried one brand, and that was the one that this top spun off, and I just didn't like that brand. So I'm trying AC Delco, and so far it runs a lot better, honestly. I'm really impressed with how it runs on these new spark plugs. I don't know if it'll start right away. I mean, as I said, it is 30 degrees out here, and it does not like to run in the cold. It needs to warm up for a long time. this bike up for $2,700. Again, it's a 93 Ultra Classic, and everything works on it. Nothing's broken. Everything looks pretty good. It's a little dirty because I was riding it around in freaking winter. But how do you not take it for at least a couple rides when you first get a new bike, right? But all the hand controls work for the radio. All the lights work. I did end up I just had to replace this one bulb. The front marker bulb was out. Otherwise, all the lights work, all the marker lights in the back. And it has a couple nice aftermarket pieces like this plate here and these nice grips. These are really nice grips. I would assume these foot pegs are also aftermarket, considering they match the handle grips. But even the old radio still works all well. All the gauges work. The PSI volts, and it only has 37,000 miles. So 37,000 miles for $2,700. I mean, I put a little bit of work into her, but she's a nice looking bike. Not as nice as my Softail, but that came off the dealership floor, so that's why it's a little nicer. All right, well, thank you for watching.